Follow-up question from Thomas is if we have solutions for Exchange and SQL.
Sure, great question. So what's a little bit different about Intronis is we really focus on those file backups. Included in that is SQL and Exchange. We take a lot of pride in that we've got a really great ability to be able to go ahead and back those up natively. So we went ahead and we talked to Microsoft and said, okay, what's the best way to go ahead and back up SQL? What's the best way to back up Exchange? And all the information they went ahead and gave us, we went ahead and implemented into our product. So where applicable, we'll go ahead and we'll integrate with the APIs, go ahead and perform streaming backups to make sure we get good, solid, full backups, differentials, incrementals, to really, again, make sure that we're backing up those systems according to Microsoft's best practices. And one of the byproducts of that is that maintenance is going to occur as it's specifically supposed to. Logs are going to get truncated. Mailboxes that are supposed to be deleted are going to go ahead and get deleted. Items that are supposed to get deleted are going to go ahead and get deleted, that have been marked for deletion. All that stuff that's supposed to be happening is going to go ahead and happen. And what's really nice is that we can also go ahead and we can back a lot of that information right down up into the mailbox level as well. So when you set up backup sets within Intronis, we've got that best practices for Exchange and SQL, but we also have the ability to go ahead and back up those mailboxes on that brick level or individual mailbox/mesh level.
Great, thanks, Nathan. One more question here is if we have versioning and how far does it go back if we do?
Great question. So because we have a lot of compliances that we're allowing our partners to be able to go ahead and meet, we actually need to become very flexible in our revisioning as well as our retention rules. And basically partners can go ahead and set those up however they'd like or need. So if you want to go ahead and just keep 7 days worth of versioning, you can set that up. If you need to go ahead and keep that GFS tape rotation where you're keeping all the versions for a week, weeklies, monthlies, yearlies, and so forth, you can go ahead and set the software up to do that. The versioning is entirely flexible, and you can basically set it up however you would like or need. And that's on in the most part, on a per backup set level.
All right, excellent. Dan, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I have a couple more questions here. Let me just take a peek here. What about bandwidth considerations? You know, sometimes you guys, when you did the examples in your presentation, all of them were based off of about 50 gigs of backups. What happens when you run into this is two questions in this. What happens billing-wise when you run into a client who says, "Hey, I want to back up a terabyte of data"? And then also, what happens? Not so much what you're charged, because that's pretty clear. You guys, and to just answer that piece of it is, when if you guys need to get pricing information, you can feel free to contact us at virtualadministrator.com. You just go there, sign up for the Intronis info track. So you'll go to sign up, and you'll click "I want more information about Intronis," and we'll give you pricing on how to work with Intronis. But the question I'm really asking is, how do you bill a client for that? Because, some of those models that you gave probably would break down once you break past a certain point. And then the other question is, how does that, how do you guys handle the bandwidth concerns? It could tie up their network for quite some time, so.
Sure, great three-part question, Dan.
Sorry. It's a little bit of a speech, but.
No, not a problem at all. So as far as the pricing plans, exactly, definitely talk to Dan, go to the website and check that out. But basically the way the pricing structure typically works is the more you store, the lower the price overall becomes. So what's nice is that how that translates over into pricing plans is that you're able to basically continue to offer the customers lower pricing plans as they themselves go ahead and start storing larger amounts. So in the case of if you have a customer that's storing, say, a terabyte of information, you're probably not going to be able to go ahead and charge $3 per gig. More than likely, you'll need to go ahead and kind of retard that a little bit and back it down a little bit. So maybe you're charging $2.50 a gig, or maybe you're charging 75 cents a gig with a larger maintenance fee on there. So you definitely can kind of play with those pricing structures, but it is quite frequent as customers go ahead and store more data in larger sets to go ahead and kind of retard that price back just a little bit. to kind of talk on the technological side of the software, a terabyte is definitely quite a bit of data to go ahead and push over an internet connection. Unless you're talking about a 10, 25, or 50 meg connection, something really large like that, it's probably going to take a while. So what we'll most frequently recommend to a lot of partners is utilize our initial seed process. And what that basically entails is plugging in a portable USB hard drive to the software or to the computer that contains the software, running the backup against that portable USB hard drive. Once the data is all on that USB hard drive, resume normal backups and just send us in the hard drive. We'll go ahead and we'll synchronize all the information up. So instead of taking 2, 3, couple months to go ahead and get that data up, it really only takes a couple hours.
Well, that's great. I think that really answers that question. We got a few extra questions from some of our partners. Alex, did you want to sum up a few of those, and then I think we can wrap it up. That answers most of what I had to ask.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. Tim is asking about brick level, if we offer brick level for Exchange and SQL. I think we already touched upon that, or you did, Nathan, if you want to just talk about that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do offer brick level restore for Exchange, basically being able to restore individual mailboxes and messages. It's done through a separate backup set type within the software, but it's absolutely capable. As far as SQL Server, we can go ahead and we can restore down to the individual database level. However, we can't get down into the individual transaction level just yet. So we're kind of hanging out at the database level, and we haven't got too much feedback from partners that they wanted us to go any deeper, so we're kind of hanging out there right now.
Great. Next question is if we're integrated with Casilla, and why we're integrated with Casilla.
Sure, great question. So Casilla, absolutely, it's one of the premier RMM tools out there. There's several RMM platforms out there that really do a great job at monitoring systems. As far as the way that we're integrated currently with Casilla, we go ahead and we write all of our events to the Windows Event Viewer, basically backups at starting, backups at stopped, backups that finished with errors, notices, any of that type of information is all written to the Windows Event Logs. And with the Casilla product, or really any RMM tool, you can go ahead and you can basically pick up those events through alerts and go ahead and report on them appropriately, so they can go ahead and create tickets for you in your ConnectWise product or whatever your PSA tool is, or your ticketing product of your choice.
A lot of our members use hosted Casilla, and so there's some limitations on how the event viewer works with Casilla. What kind of alerts are being written to the event log? Is it a warning, or is it just a regular info, or how does that work?
Yep, we have informational errors. We log information, we log errors, and we also log warnings.
Okay, because the Casilla, for hosted Casilla, typically only reports on warnings and errors. So that would cover like no backups being completed, or that would cover what do you know off the top of your head what that would cover typically?
Yeah,
if it's just
typically
and errors.
Yeah, sure. Typically, it would cover basically any backup sets that are having problems.
Okay.
So if there was a backup that failed, it would come in as a warning. If there was a backup that completed, but there were errors associated with the files that weren't able to be backed up, that should come in as an error as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Great. And there's another question here. As a marketing standpoint, how would we compare to, let's say, a Dropbox or SugarSync, who offer 100 gigs for $20 a month?
Sure, absolutely. So some of those other vendors, again, like the C and the M's that are offering $50 a year, take a close look at the service offering. And typically, you'll start to kind of see a lot of holes in the offering that they're providing. Things like limiting bandwidth. So they'll only go ahead and provide you so much bandwidth a month, so you can only push up so much data. You'll only be able to go ahead and restore so much data. More than likely, they're using Tier 3 facilities or lower, basically meaning that there's not redundancy throughout the entire system. They don't have SLAs with the oil companies or diesel companies to make sure they've got fuel right behind the hospitals. They're not going to be redundant across multiple data centers. There's going to be a lot of differences inside of that, where you're going to start to see, again, the security, the reliability is going to drop dramatically. Basically, they have to go ahead and basically provide a service at a lower cost, they have to kind of give somewhere, whether it's outsource support, whether it's going ahead and kind of outsourcing the development. Where do they kind of have to give somewhere to be able to go ahead and charge lower prices? And unfortunately, the end user typically isn't going to notice it. It's going to be the partner that actually notices it, that they're not able to go ahead and provide marketing information to their customer, that they have to develop it all themselves. That when it comes to the security question, they're going to have to say, well, no, we're sorry, our solution isn't able to comply with that compliance. So that's typically what we hear the most of.
I've always heard that, there's three things a business can compete on. It's price, quality, and speed of delivery. You can pick any two. And, so when it comes to backups, I would definitely go for speed and quality over price any day of the week. Because I can't imagine what would happen when you try to restore someone's backup and it's just not done right, or there's a problem, or or like you were talking about compliance issues and they get in trouble. They lose you can lose licenses over that, and you can destroy an entire business just by screwing up their backups. So you have to be very careful with that kind of stuff.
There's a large portion of our business, especially over the last year or so, that's actually come from a lot of those consumer companies because, unfortunately, they just got burned. They try to run restores, and the restores fail miserably. Oof. Whether it's they couldn't get the data back on a timely basis, or it just plain didn't work. And for an online backup company, that's really, really important to be able to get your data back.
That's definitely where the rubber hits the road, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys have additional questions, you can feel free to email them to me at dan@virtualadministrator.com, and I'll go ahead and get answers for you if I don't have them right offhand. And I think that you guys did a wonderful job. Thank you both for coming out and doing this for us and for our partners. And
thank you.
We'll look forward to seeing you guys again. I'm sure we'll have you on another webinar sometime in the future. Also, if you guys are not using Intronis currently and you want to find out some more, I mentioned earlier, but I'll just say it one more time. You can just run to our website, and we have information on there, virtualadministrator.com, and I'll just paste that in there. Let's see, we'll just send that to everyone. If you run there and then there's a tab right up top that says sign up, you can sign up for more information on Intronis, but you can also just sign up for a free trial. We give away a 30-day free trial of Intronis, and you can hop in there and actually get a chance to use it and see what all the hubbub's been about. So anyway, I think that basically covers it. Do you guys have any closing notes or?
No, I think we're all set. But thanks everybody for joining us today and listening.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much. Have a great week.
Thanks, everyone.